Hello, my name is Patrick Gunning, and you are currently tuned into What Am I Saying? A show which I talk about random things. Here on episode 11, I'm going to be talking about different spoken languages, and English is going to be for this show, and it's the only language that I can speak. I'm going to start the show right now. The whole world has several different spoken languages, from being official to national to regionally, and languages ain't the same, not even if one country speaks the same language as the other. Countries that speak the same language, like the United States and Australia, that uses English as its national language, but the difference to the English language that is spoken between these countries comes down to the words that are spelt, communication, and even slangs as well. Spoken languages make up not only their country, culture, or community, but it also makes up not just their identity, but also the person's personality as well. Some words in a spoken languages may mean one thing with some meaning to it. A country may not just have one national or official language, but also may have other languages, but also regional languages as well. Learning to speak different languages is great for the mind, but also great for the person doing something to do with their time. There are countries can use its spoken language as an official or national language, and in some countries as a regional language as well. There are countries that has one official or national language, and some countries that have multiple official or national languages. A spoken language represents a person's ethnicity, cultural background, and even an identity to a person or country. Learning to speak one or more languages is healthy for the person's mind and their mental health. A spoken language itself may have some sort of backstory to it. There are spoken languages that are dying unless something has to be done about it. But with a little help from podcasting and social media and education, those spoken languages could make its comeback. Some spoken languages may be sometimes related to another spoken language, right down to both the characters and even the words themselves. Some languages are easy to learn than others. A language can be spoken in any way, shape, and form. The world has so many languages, with new languages have been being created or even being discovered by others that are dying out, with the world losing count of those spoken languages altogether. A spoken language has been created for the purpose of not letting one group of people know without letting the other group of people knowing anything, as well as it can be used for the subject of film and television production. Some spoken language are the way more understanding and easier to learn than others, and are more difficult and challenging to learn and speak as well. Characters that are used alongside a few spoken languages may be as simple from one language like English to another language like Spanish, and even Italian as well. The characters to a spoken language are different from one and the other, despite on what the language could be. Spoken language is not just a spoken language. if it's being spoken in the right way with a tone as well, so the person who is speaking in that language to other then can be understanding every word that person is saying. A spoken language can be understanding if it can be spoken in the right way. But if it's not spoken in the right way, then no one would not understand what that person is saying or what they're telling them about. A person can learn to speak another language for the purposes of living in the area to where that language has been spoken, or for work-related matters, and then there is no point of learning to speak that language if you're not going to be speaking with them. There's several different spoken languages, with some that are quite similar or related from one to the other. Some spoken languages can have similar meanings or missing translation due to different meanings. Each spoken word in the language has to it some sort of meaning in every single way to it. There are some people who are not going to be learning to speak another language due to not knowing anyone who speaks those languages, or living in the area and in the area that the language has commonly been spoken. Some spoken languages have to be spoken with some sort of tone to it, so people who speak the same language can understand what that person is saying about. Learning to speak another language can help a person with their mental health in some sort of way. Some languages can't just be spoken by words, but can also be spoken by a way of using their hand movement, like sign language for the deaf community, for example. Speaking is not just part of a spoken language, but word spelling and characters and symbols come along with that spoken language. I have to say that the show has come to an end for the time being, and on the next episode of What Am I Saying, I'm going to be talking about electronic wireless, and stay around for this episode to come, and for the time being, I see you guys later. The following production has been written, edited, presented, and produced by Patrick Gunning, and copyrighted in 2023 by Patrick Gunning, or PFGUN0 for short.